Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Just want to say congrats to everybody that bought the dip on Friday and really appreciate all the feedback and shout outs and all that. Certainly makes what we do a lot more fun and encourages me to continue doing it when we get that kind of feedback and everybody is having a party together. So obviously it went perfectly, and it doesn't always go like that. Technical analysis, I'm not going to sit here and say nailing it that exactly is the norm, but I highly suggest if you have not watched the video from Thursday night, go watch it. And honestly, I'm probably going to use that as an example for lessons and things like that in technical analysis, just because there was a little bit of fundamental mixed in there, a lot of technical, and more importantly, just a lot of detail, because I was really confident in the setup, and that's why I went into that much detail, because of, seeing what was most likely to happen. So the way that I traded it, I'll go over that when we go over WEED, but MJX, just to look at it here, we got our higher low on the daily time frame trying to form. So remember, we said anything above 32.93 is a higher low. So we had a ton of wiggle room here, and we have our higher low now at 36.24. And really what we're watching, and in order for the bears to take over the sector in terms of changing the daily trends, of course, we're watching the equilibrium pattern on WEED, which we'll point out in just a moment. But if we were to see MJX bounce and set a lower high and then a lower low, I believe that we would see bearish breaks on the equilibrium patterns on the daily time frame of the big three. So essentially, the two most important levels right now for MJX are the high of 39.72 and the low of 36.24. And where we stand, I'm going to be opening myself up for the potential of taking shorts at some point later in the week, depending on the action. If we were to come up to this level and start to show some weakness, I would then use a top fishing play, which is where I go short and exit if the bulls are able to hit a higher high. And that's a very low risk strategy in terms of the trade, as I wait till the bulls are close to that resistance, see a little bit of weakness, make the entry, and then have a clear stop level if the bulls do see continuation. Not saying I'm going to make that trade, just saying that's something on my mind in terms of preparation for next week. So let's get into WEED. That's where all of our focus was, just because it was the most oversold name. We had the clear higher low that needed to hold on the daily time frame at 29.50, and we ended up bouncing at 30.73. Played out exactly as anticipated in terms of we didn't get the gap down open, but we got the weaker open, we got the push down to lower lows, and then even down to the 15-minute time frame where I said I'd be shocked if the bounce didn't start within 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, that was the low of the day, and then the bulls took over. So what we were watching, I said that I was in half a position in the previous day, which I was, and then I was looking to add, and I added more based on the 2-minute time frame. And we use the 2-minute time frame when things are really volatile to get more information. And what I was watching is this pattern where we had our high, didn't make an entry here. And I said that, if we gap down open, I would enter first thing with a market order. We didn't gap down open, and I didn't like the wide bid in the ask spread here. So I sat very patiently. Things were happening slow, where I was telling everybody on the live webcam, I'm being patient here. I'm waiting because we're not getting any kind of, gap down climax. This is a slow pullback, so let's wait till we find a support level. So we broke the low of the previous day of Thursday. 30.73 was the low. We bounced and set another lower high at 31.60. We then formed a double bottom, 30.75. So this is when we started paying attention and saying, okay, we have our double bottom. If we break the lower highs now, it's go signal for the bulls. And we saw that bull break, entered, where are we here? Entered with a market order to add to my position on the way up. And again, wasn't ideal fills, but fortunately I already had half of my position established the previous day. And then from there, the bulls were in full control for the rest of the morning. We had the 5-minute time frame where we were looking for the potential of consolidation and then continuation. It was very brief consolidation. A new support was established at 32.80, and then the bulls saw continuation. So as I depicted in the previous video, I was scaling out. I had a large enough position that I was scaling out, 20%, 20%, 20%, all the way up out of my trading position. I had added to my swing positions as well in multiple accounts from the previous day, just because I didn't want to switch through accounts and have all of that going on, anticipating a fast morning. So I did that the previous day. So I held my swing positions, I exited all of my day trading position, and then I patiently watched and went about my day doing things, had an appointment. And once I saw the end of the day, I was watching the 15-minute time frame here, and I was watching what looked like a bit like an ascending triangle, where we have our horizontal resistance level and higher lows as we get tighter and tighter. And here at the end of the day, at about 3 o'clock, I entered another position. And I said, all right, bulls are holding up really well. This is the first day of the bounce. This is a bullish reversal candlestick on the daily. I'm going to re-enter a position here and hope that we head to a close at the high of the day. If there's one thing we know in the Canadian MJ sector with the big three, it's when they have momentum in a certain direction, the market makers love to open up the next day in that favor. So I'm expecting a gap up on Wednesday. And I re-entered some of my shorter-term trading positions with a stop loss below the 15-minute higher low, which never triggered. And we closed at the high of the day, and we're looking for a gap up open. My targets are going to be a lower high to stay in this equilibrium pattern. So let's get rid of these lines so we can see it on the daily time frame. We have our higher lows on the daily. We have our most recent lower high from the initial bounce that we played. And now we're looking for a lower high on this bounce. I gave a target of $34, $35 as my rough estimate. We hit those targets. Now on this gap up day tomorrow, I'm looking, or I should say Monday, I'm looking for a move up towards 36 and a half. And I will again scale out of my position, lock in that profit, and I will likely break up my swing term orders by locking in half of them on the way up as well, and maybe keeping half to anticipate maybe we do make a bull. Well, I just changed my mind right in the middle of this video. I'm going to lock in all my profit on the way up, anticipating a lower high, looking for this tightening pattern to play out. And then if we make a bull break of 39.09, then I will re-enter for a clear bull break. And that would also be an entry for other long positions because that's a clear tightening pattern over a month, and it would break in favor of the bulls. The weekly time frame is still bullish at this point. We have an inside bar to be watching this next week. If you're not familiar with inside bars, we have a video explaining it on our trading lessons playlist on the YouTube channel. But we have an inside bar to be watching, and I still would like to hold off on long-term entries until this daily pattern breaks. So we got our support hold, nice solid bull volume, looking for more on Monday. And again, I will be locking in my additional profit on Monday and taking it from there, reassessing the situation when back in all cash. ACB. So we had a nice solid bounce here as anticipated. Again, just the sector sticking together. We had the higher low that the bulls wanted to maintain. I was looking at a couple levels, one of them being 1176. We formed a higher low at 1221. Bullish reversal candlestick. Same thing, I would expect a lower high to form here on this bounce attempt compared to the all-time high of 1520. Of course, anything I'm saying, if news comes out, that will definitely affect things. And ACB did have news where they got cultivation license on, I believe it's their third property. But that has a little bit of bullish sentiment as that happened after the close. So just keeping an eye on, volume. If volume is increasing, we're going to look for higher highs. Right now, ACB is in a much more bullish position than WEED and APH because it's coming from that all-time high. A lot less resistance to work through to get back to those levels, and we're not at risk of losing this uptrend. We are not in an equilibrium pattern as we are in these other names. So APH, a little bit different looking on its daily equilibrium pattern, had a nice higher low here. After it looks like it was a gap down open. Of course, my attention was all on WEED, but there were gains on all of these big three, and there were gains across the whole sector, so it all depends on what you wanted to play. A lower high that I'm looking at on APH, there's two of them, 2356 and 2260. I am looking for a lower high compared to 2260. We did not close at the high of the day comparable to WEED, but we will expect some follow through to the upside, at least to start the morning first thing. And I would be looking at a target of $21 and just over 21. So a little bit of juice left in the Bulls tank by judging by how we closed, at least in WEED, and that is the name that I'm personally playing. And we are going to look for a lower high to be set on these daily timeframes unless big bull volume or big bull news comes out to change that assessment. MJN didn't keep the most ideal higher low. Bulls wanted to hold this support. Let's see how close we got. 960 and 955. So that's very close to holding. Bullish reversal candlestick. Anticipating a lower high compared to this high that we hit at 11.99. So we're going to look for a bounce attempt and a lower high and a tightening range here on the daily chart as well. And we're going to get a very clear break. Essentially what's happening right now, if you're watching the cryptocurrency space, this is what's been happening in cryptocurrencies for about the same amount of time, maybe a little bit less time. But it's a daily equilibrium pattern by the sector leader that is going to indicate the direction heading into February. Are we going to get a bull break of this tightening daily pattern or a bear break? Whichever direction it occurs is going to indicate which direction momentum is favoring to start the month of February. So we could hold in this pattern for WED for another week and a half of trading. very easily. So I'm not anticipating a break anytime soon just yet, but it is a very significant pattern to be watching for the long term and to see how the spring is going to shape up. Really, this is going to be leading into the spring as we anticipate the summer is going to have all the hype. But again, we've got plenty of time. 3 months is an eternity in the stock world where these prices could very easily pull back another 20% or they could hit all-time highs before the summer. So this pattern is going to be very informative with regards to that, and I'm going to be making a heavy bet, either a significant bull bet on a bull break or a significant short on MJX if we get a bear break of this pattern. So that's where we stand. We're going to continue checking in periodically as the action permits. Again, can't thank everybody enough and really glad that the information is helping people. That is why we do it. You know, free content is certainly good when we get that kind of response. So thanks again. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon.